talk. Jesus, that was the guy from... I'll tell you later. Right, okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining this. I hope you're going to enjoy it. We'll probably be about 20, 25 minutes, something like that. If you've got any comments or questions, please put them into the chat. I'll start with a quick intro from me. Stephen will do a quick intro, and then we'll just get on with a live demo. I'm going to then interview Stephen about a couple of things because he's closest to our customers. So I'm Adam Gordon. If we don't know each other, I've been in recruiting since 1999. I wasn't a particularly great employee, so I started building companies in this space in 2009. Yeah, they've been all right. So poetry. Let me just give you a bit of background to this. I learned about, in 2023, I started learning a lot about sales enablement technologies, and sales enablement technology effectively houses all of the content and scripts and props and tools and calculators and things that salespeople need to like complete their tasks really effectively. It makes sales quite paint by numbers. And I was looking at this going, wow, what do we do in recruitment? How do we equip our recruiters with all of the tools and props and calculators and decks and scripts and interview questions and things that they need to complete their tasks? And I didn't believe we did anything, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We started our company on the 1st of August 2023. As of today, the 25th of June 2025, we were ranked number 66 in the world's best recruitment technologies by Tim Sackett. So thank you, Tim, for including us. 22 months. Hi. Okay, so we appear to be still on the stream. I had an internet outage. Stephen, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, it kicked me out because you left, and I was just like,
No,
that
could have been worse timing. In all the meetings we have, like so many times every single day, and that never happens. And then internet outage. Okay, right. So I've done enough of my intro. Stephen, quick intro from you, and then we'll start sharing what poetry is all about, what it looks like.
Yeah, no problem. My name's Stephen. I'm the product experience manager for Poetry. After just over a decade in recruitment, I moved into recruitment technology, working with Candidate ID, then iCIMS, and now Poetry. So my job here is a pretty simple but complex one all at the same time. It is to make sure that anything that our customers say, that prospects say, that internally we discuss, gets ran through a process and has made sure that it's the right fit for what Poetry is going to adapt to and change to in the future. So it's been a fun 16 months now so far.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to Poetry. The reason that we built this product was because recruiters need a lot of tools and props and assets and things to complete their tasks. And from my research, recruiters found it really hard to manage all of these different assets. So we built one workspace where they can access everything. As of today, recruiters are saving 25% of their time to complete their tasks. I'm going to show you how this product works, and I hope you're going to like it. So to do this, I'm going to set up a new workspace for a company. I'm going to choose Corn Ferry, which is the staffing, RPO, and executive search organization. So I go into the workspace. I am acting effectively as a recruitment operations manager for this organization. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into setup, auto-populate. Corn Ferry is the name of the company. The website address is cornferry.com. I'm going to click generate workspace responses. And this is going to take approximately 30 seconds to populate the artificial intelligence with a lot of background on this organization. What's the company's vision, mission, values, purpose, employer value proposition, competitive aspects in the market. It's also going to go and aim to grab what is the teams this company hires for, what are the job titles that it hires for, and what are the locations it hires in. Okay, so now that's done, it's gone into my talent playbook. So I'm now gone from being a recruitment operations manager to I am a recruiter recruiting for this organization. So I'm hiring for an organizational development job. It is an organizational development consultant. It's based in Chicago. I click select all, build playbook, and in 30 seconds, this is going to give me all of the background that I need to start working on this job immediately. It's going to give me 16 essential items of talent intelligence, which help me to really understand the hiring environment for this job. How many people are available? What's the diversity profile of these individuals? Who's the best employers for these individuals? What's the sort of hot topics for organizational development consultants? It's also going to give me talent sourcing assets like Boolean strings and outreach messaging, recruitment marketing content, such as social media posts and job adverts. And it's going to give me operational recruitment items like job description and interview questions, for example. Now, I'm going to go into research, and I can see here's the challenges and responsibilities for this type of job. Here's the recommended skills and qualifications, salary range and benefits according to Corn Ferry, Glassdoor, and PayScale, similar job titles, relevant courses for people in OD, the job board suggestions for this particular job, the largest employers for this type of job, unsurprisingly, Willis Towers Watson, Aon, Mercer, those types of organizations, the companies with the best career opportunities, okay, the characteristics of employers who hire for this, job and industry insights, the potential for this role to be automated now or in the coming years, remote work trends, diversity trends, commutable locations where there are hotspots of people that can do this job, and turnover and growth rates, okay? And one last one, demand v supply, right? So 200 plus job postings against 100 qualified candidates. So there's a talent shortage. It's deliberately giving this information in bite-sized, digestible chunks for the recruiter that's hiring for 5 new recs every single day. And they just can't do the desktop research to be able to find all of this. We're providing it instantly. As you saw, that was 30 seconds, okay? Also in this pack of assets, this playbook, here's my kickoff meeting. So here's the structure for the kickoff meeting and what I need to get. I can share that instantly from that with the hiring manager from here. Here's my Boolean string, search Google. Here's OD consultants and similar in and near Chicago. social media outreach messaging, conversation guide. It's like an elevator pitch, objection handling responses, brand adverts. If I've got multiple people I need to hire and I'm putting a campaign onto Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, email copy. If I've got people in the CRM I want to reach out to, this company's employer value proposition, recontextualized for the talent persona of an OD consultant. Job advert, landing page copy, talent persona, social media post, job description, skills-based hiring. That tells me what are the jobs with an overlap in the skills required and gives me as a recruiter just the right amount of information to understand what's the job all about and how to have an intelligent conversation with the hiring manager, maybe to help them think more creatively about what it is we're sourcing for. And then candidate interview questions. Now, back to the pack of assets, you'll see here that some of these you might be thinking, well, I've got my own template for job adverts or for job descriptions or for interview questions. And I want it to be more formatted to my specific requirements. Up in the setup area, configuration, this is where I can choose what do I want my job adverts to look like and what do I want my interview questions to look like. Okay, so there's a variety of different aspects of configuration that you can do from here. You can also go into, like, for example, job adverts. I can go into edit job advert lists. Here's my contractor advert, standard job advert, graduate stroke entry level advert. I can add another one. So this is for my engineers advert. Okay. And then I'm going to put in the right information in here, click save, and that'll attach to any jobs that are in the engineering team, for example. So you can slice it and dice it. You can configure it like in a lot of different ways if you're an admin on Poetry. Okay, I can also go into admin and then desktop and groups. And in here, I can choose which are the things that I don't need. So maybe I don't need business cases in here. I can click that off. Okay, and this is where you can add in your third-party tools. So if I want my iSIMS applicant tracking system tile to be in there, or my Avature CRM tile to be on this desktop accessible, then I can add that in. Okay, a couple of the solutions that are not available through the playbook. There's a solution for processes, for skills-based hiring, for team learning. Competitors, this is one of my favorites. So, and one of the most used. So let's say I'm at Corn Ferry and I'm going to be interviewing somebody who works for Mercer. I can add in a competitor card for Mercer. It's going to give me a bit of background on this organization and then click Generate Insights. This is going to read Indeed reviews, Glassdoor reviews, blogs about working in, the kind of human capital consultancy sort of area. And it's brought up culture, community engagement, focus on employee development, collaborative and innovative. Strengths, trusted advice, comprehensive benefits or comprehensive well-being initiatives, strengthen global presence. Cultural adaptation challenges, that's in weakness, overemphasis on metrics, complexity and company structure. I can then click competitor comparison, compare, and it'll take about 20 to 30 seconds and it'll develop for me a really powerful Corn Ferry versus Mercer for culture, for benefits, for career opportunities and that type of thing. So that as a recruiter, I know exactly how to frame that conversation. Okay, I'm just going to go back to our own sort of workspace in here, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that need a little bit of additional configuration that I can't show you on that brand new workspace that I set up. So let's say I've got my job description in here and it's for a sales development representative based in Glasgow. I can click related and then I want a job advert for that. Okay, I click inspire me and it's now going to create a job advert based on that job description. I could have done that with candidate interview questions based on that job description and other things based on that job description. So it's turned that sort of list of kind of requirements and responsibilities into something that's a bit more of a marketing asset, just for example. That's very popular, is job descriptions into job adverts. Another one that's very popular, if I go to social media posts, okay, I am creating a social media post. It's for a sales job. It's an account executive. It's based in Glasgow. I click Inspire Me. I can add in notes in here if I want. I could use any of the 185 languages that are in here, incidentally. I click Inspire Me, and it's going to develop the copy for this social media post. Okay, I click Save Asset, and then I want to attach an image to this. So I click on Share, the LinkedIn button. I will use one of my approved images. Okay, and it's now dynamically, it's got the logo in the right place and the hashtag in the right place, and it's dynamically added in, the account executive. If I did that for finance manager or whatever, it would dynamically add in the location, and it could add in the location or the team or the post to LinkedIn. Okay. And actually, I better probably just get rid of that off LinkedIn, because I am not at this point hiring for that job. I'll just go and make sure that it's not in here, so that nobody applies for that. Okay. Okay. Show all posts. Oh, I've got that. It's because this is live, right? Okay. So that's quite meta. It's going to be live and live. Okay. Questions, comments. Right, Stephen. Which are the most popular solutions for the work that you've been doing with your customers?
So we've seen a real trend in the things that people use, and also the times of days that they use them as well is quite interesting, no matter what the company size, from under 20 all the way up to thousands of recruiters in company size tend to follow the same format. Playbooks is the nice shiny thing, right? That's what you've shown. So that's immediately people gravitate towards that, because you get to see a little bit about how the whole platform works as quickly as possible. But beyond that, we have job adverts. So turning job descriptions into job adverts. Quite a lot of people have got legacy documentation around job descriptions and struggle to kind of add creative elements into that to make it enticing for candidates. Next would be research. And quite a lot of those companies will have access to, I'm going to use the word maybe more robust kind of insight analysis tools, but there's usually a delay in their ability to get information as a recruiter, right? They might only have a few licenses. They might need to contact someone else in, in another office, and it takes maybe 24 to 48 hours. So the way that we have framed research in asking basic questions to be answered as quickly as possible means that that's a firm kind of favorite. And then really competitor intel is probably the next thing. I'm not sure whether that's just because lots of people are setting up workspaces all the time, and one of the first things that you should do is go in and have a look. But we're interested to see how that analysis, the differentiator between my company versus X is going to kind of come over the next couple of weeks and months, as that's a pretty new feature. I suspect that it will maintain being pretty popular though, which will be good.
Let's talk about hiring managers, because I know that one of the trends right now is towards pushing more tasks down towards hiring managers and enabling them for success, enabling them with interview questions and social media outreach and social media posts and things that they can use to go and reach out to their network and to really follow the right process through the recruitment, rather than just making up their own interview questions and things. What are the things that we've done to help TA teams to better collaborate with and inspire hiring managers?
Yeah, loads. The reason I was laughing during your question there, I'll answer it in just a second, is that I have just received 2 WhatsApp messages asking me if we are hiring for an account executive, and you posted that roughly about 30 seconds ago. So that that made me laugh. But in answer to
We
your
will
question,
be. We will be.
yeah, in answer to your question, the reality is we've had to work extremely closely from the initial concept of what poetry was, going to be. And what that meant was us learning how different types of organizations work and what they really need in terms of an enablement platform. I think you'll probably agree, Adam, what we try to do is restrict options. As a start, it tried to be quite a, one size fits all platform. And we were going to try and not dictate the way, but influence the way that things were written and best practices and stuff like that. And what we kind of probably learned quite humbly during the process was these companies have all spent thousands of man hours or dollars in inventing their own policies and processes and ways of doing things and guides. And what we actually needed to do was the ability to just work with them on that and use that to influence their workspace. So really becoming the guardrails, really becoming the guide, especially if they were going to, enable AI in the platform and use that as part of, which wasn't always an option, early on. It was an on-off switch that they could do. But it was really that kind of, they wanted kind of comfort around, hey, if we've done all this work previously, we need to know that you guys are going to take that seriously as we start to kind of roll this out to our recruiters. That's been the main thing, the learning experience of how different organizations work and trying to find a way in which we can, in a really user-friendly manner, bring in vast amounts of information from one organization to the other and make that work for them.
Incidentally, for anybody watching this is entirely unscripted, so Stephen doesn't know I'm going to ask him, which is just how we work in general. But Stephen, we were exchanged messages earlier on today about we've got a couple of graphics which are like poetry v SharePoint, poetry v ChatGPT, and you said, like, we need to update this because there's quite a lot of other things. What is your what's your comments on this? Why is poetry providing a superior solution to like vanilla kind of enterprise solutions that other people might have access to?
Yeah, I think beyond the general consensus that vanilla enterprise solutions are where things go to die, is places that I've certainly worked, is that's been the consensus overall. But what we've started to see is really some exciting initiatives in that on that end, right? So SharePoint linking in with OpenAI, which can then read and interrogate documents and things like that. And as someone that has helped build a platform that is got guardrails and kind of things like that really at the core of what it's meant to do, my ears prick up and I go, okay, well, I need to go and see what's happening over there. And basically the gist of it is that those things do happen. So, OpenAI, ChatGPT can interrogate documents, but what we've found is that after maybe 3 to 5 prompts, it forgets. So it has memory loss and you need to start again and you need to remind it again. So that doesn't happen in poetry. You need to consistently refer back to documentation, which doesn't happen in poetry. And also, last but not least, which is really probably the most important for me, but was ranked third importance in the documentation that I read, is that recruiters can actually out-prompt your guides and your guardrails, with that integration, which is a huge issue because that's the entire reason, for our ecosystem and what we've kind of built is so that can't happen. So I think just those 3 things alone, there's a bit more to come, but I'll save that for what I'm going to kind of publish later on this week probably. But that's the 3 core elements.
Okay, so I had an internet outage, and so we had a bit of disruption on this earlier on. I'm going to do one more show and tell on here. I'm going to go on to, just so you can see that none of this is like rehearsed or prepared, I'm going to go on to Google and I'm going to say world's top staffing companies ranked by revenue. Whatever comes up 5th, okay, it's Recruit Holdings. Okay, I'm going to use that company and build a workspace for that organization, and show you how easy that is. Recruit Holdings. So this is how, so it's recruit-holdings.com. So let's go on to build a workspace for this company. I go to workspace, spaces, new workspace, recruit holdings, create new workspace. One of the reasons we've made this so easy to use is for RPO companies, because if they will need to spin up a new customer workspace regularly, then they want to go through this process and it to be rapid. So as you can see, time to value is like almost instant. Auto populate, recruit holdings, recruit-holdings.com. Okay, and now generate workspace responses. As I mentioned earlier, what this is doing is it's populating this questionnaire, which goes into the artificial intelligence within this workspace. And then beyond that, Poetry can also read things like documents, hiring guides, and employer brand guidelines, and you just upload them into your workspace, and Poetry reads all of that and uses it all for context, for when it's building, recruitment marketing content or recruitment talent sourcing assets or whatever it might be. Okay, so here's some of the main teams that are hired in this company. I'm working on a marketing job. It is a content strategist. It's based in, I'll just click on, remove that share. It's based in Tokyo, because I think that's where their kind of headquarters is. I click select all, build playbook. I've never done this. I've never recruited for a content strategist based in Tokyo before. Hopefully you're going to see that this is going to just give me instant knowledge and information and things that will help me do a great job on this. So for those recruiters who are regularly working on new jobs they've never worked on before, which I think is most of us right now, considering the way the world's going, and there's like so many new jobs that are like coming into the workforce, you can see it building in front of your eyes, which is quite fun. When that research says 16, that'll be complete. Incidentally, you can connect this to your applicant tracking system so that when you log the rec and the ATS, that's the playbook complete. When you log the rec and the ATS, it sends a signal into Poetry to go and build the playbook, and then sends you an email with a link 2 minutes after you've logged the rec on the ATS to say your playbook to help you with this job is ready. Okay, so research. Challenges and responsibilities in this job. Recommended skills and qualifications. Salary range and benefits according to Recruit Holdings, Glassdoor, and Payscale. Similar job titles. Relevant courses in Tokyo. The job board suggestions. LinkedIn, Indeed, Japan, Glassdoor, Wantedly. I've never heard of Wantedly, but largest employers for this type of job. Dentsu, the big global marketing services company. Okay. Best career opportunities, again, Dentsu, Cyber Agent, Hakuhodo. Okay. The characteristics of employers that hire for this: job and industry insights, the potential for this role to be automated, remote work trends, diversity trends, commutable locations. Okay, so it's really helping you to be able to have a great conversation with the hiring managers. Turnover and growth rates, demand v supply, kickoff meeting template. My Boolean string for this: search Google. These are content strategists in and near Tokyo. Social media outreach messaging, conversation guides, objection handling, brand adverts, email copy, EVP, job advert, landing page copy, talent persona, social media post, job description, skills-based hiring, and candidate interview questions. If I wanted to produce this in Japanese, then I could have done that. So, Stephen, what else have we not covered? There's a lot of things we haven't covered, but is there anything like really important? There is a Chrome extension, so you can just slide Poetry out onto your screen if you're working in Indeed or LinkedIn or your ATS or whatever. Yeah, what's the key message that I haven't given?
I don't think there's anything. I think you've covered, the majority of things there. The one thing that I would say when you're saying, we can connect to ATSs and we can connect to everything, we are so keen to expand the workflow into real kind of recruitment scenarios. So a workspace is important to curate, to create, and inspire people around you and all that kind of stuff. But we really see poetry being an integral part of the recruitment journey. So we've already started that with ATSs and some other partners. But if you're watching this and thinking, oh, I wonder if that'll fit into my kind of recruitment tech stack. If you think that there's space for poetry in that, then we are more than happy to entertain any sort of integrations into platforms that makes your life easier.
Great. Last one, Stephen. How do people get started?
You can head to the website and click the Get Started button, which will kind of give you a short introduction and allow you to fill out a form. That'll give you access to the platform, pretty quickly, and you'll be able to play around for 14 days. And hopefully you like it enough that you're going to stay around much longer than that.
Wonderful. All right, Stephen, thanks for your time. Everybody that's had the chance to watch this, I appreciate you coming and joining, and reach out to us with any questions or comments. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.